Hello, everybody. Sherman, Leave a Legacy, episode number 39. Just got off the phone with one of my advisors. Was talking with him for like about the last hour as I was driving back home at the end of the day. And one of the things that came out was just the struggle of having the two thoughts in your mind. It's almost like you have this good thought of or this good persona that says, "Hey, you can do it. You can go after your goals. You can crush it. You're awesome." And then at the same time, you have this other voice. And depending on how much time and attention you've allowed this voice to have, it's the doubter. It's the you're not going to make it. You're not good enough. Everybody doesn't like you. You're garbage. You're kidding yourself. Everybody thinks you're fake. Nobody wants to see you succeed. And so you have these two voices playing off in your head. And so one thing that I was telling him was, you got to tell that voice to shut up. Said it a little more colorfully, but tell it to shut up and not to believe it. And it takes so much of entrepreneurship is a mindset game that we are literally defined by the way that we believe we're going to either succeed or that we're going to fail. And unfortunately, depending on where we're at in the stage of our career, we might not necessarily know. And so some days we feel like we're going to wake up and we're going to kill it and we're going to make it happen and we're going to be successful. Other times we wake up and we go, no, today's to somebody else. So as you think about what self-limiting beliefs that you have, one of the big things that I think in helping to get more mentally tough is surrounding yourself with the right people, with other winners, people that see things like you. The other thing is to identify what kind of personality you are when it comes to the achievement of goals or holding yourself out as goals. So what I mean by that is some people, they don't want to share their goals with others because they're afraid that the moment that they've shared it, that people will then be watching them and saying, oh, you said you're going to do this and you haven't done it yet. And so what that has done is that it's created this negative emotion that for them becomes very debilitating in achieving their goals. So if that's your personality, then I definitely would not share your goals with people, that I would hold it more close to the vest. And then when you accomplish those goals, then you can then say it and then broadcast it out to the world. And you got to know where you are in that. Other people, they like to say, hey, if I hold myself out and say, hey, to everybody, I'm going to work out 4 times this week, and they say it to their spouse, they say it to their children, they say that, to their business partners. What happens for them is, from an accountability perspective, they'll continue to then go and do it. And so same thing works from a career perspective, is that they're going to say, hey, I want to accomplish these certain things, and they know that they feed off that energy of people saying, hey, you said you're going to do this, you're going to try to accomplish that, and that really gets them going. So you really need to identify for you as you hold out your goals. Are you a person that likes to vocally say it to others because that helps with the outside accountability? Or are you someone that says, you know what, once I've brought it, then I'll let everybody know, hey, just so you know, this is my cards. It's basically like in poker, hey, you think I'm bluffing, but in reality, here's the straight flush, right? And then you lock it down. And so you're not having to hold yourself out there and feel like people are watching you. For me personally, I don't really give a crap what anybody else thinks. So I don't have any problems telling people what my goals are and where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to accomplish. Obviously, that's the ego that says, hey, I can make a video, people are going to appreciate this, and they're gonna find value in it. I know at the same time, there's haters out there, there's people that don't really give a crap about the value that you bring to the table, and that's really not. The video is not for you, right? If you're someone that's more on the negative Nelly side, where you're constantly trying to find problems or being very critical about anybody trying to go after their goals and be successful, then obviously these videos aren't for you, because you're trying to play more of that negative route, which for me I find no value in. At the same time, I really don't care that there's critics out there, because I know exactly kind of what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to build and the value that I bring to the marketplace. However, if for you're still fragile in that ego and that small voice that says, hey, you can't do those things, you can't accomplish it, if that still speaks volumes, is that still super loud in your mind, then you need to figure ways to shut it up and to push it out. And so maybe then you don't want to share your goals with anybody, because that voice is so loud, it's going to overpower what's going to happen. And it's a lot easier to say that than actually practice it. So I totally understand. I think for me, those fears, that loud voice of the doubter definitely existed a lot stronger when I was much younger. Again, for me, at the 6th grade, I was tripped by, I think her name's Leslie, who knows, who gives a crap, and I fell. Everybody laughed at me. Someone was filming. I cried. I called her a B. It was her birthday party. She cried. Didn't necessarily go very well for me. That day, I was humiliated. I was embarrassed. And then after that, I realized, who really gives a crap? And after that, I just stopped caring what other people thought. I can't remember the last time. Actually, no, I can't remember the last time I did get embarrassed. It was my now wife was talking to one of my buddies and totally embarrassed me, which was weird. And both my buddy and her both said, "Oh my gosh, you're embarrassed." And I said, "Yeah, this is really weird emotion because I just don't. This doesn't really happen that much, or yeah, if at all." And so you need to know who you are and know that those voices do exist. The interesting thing about the reality of the world, about life, is that it's two things. Number one is there will be opposition. That's just how it is. There's light, right? There's daytime and there's nighttime. There's good and there's bad. There's happiness and there's sorrow. Like if you're thinking in your mind that anyone that hits it successfully has an easy life or an easier life than you, you're kidding yourself. You obviously haven't talked to enough people, or you're just that ignorant, or you're just straight out dumb. Which, again, if you're watching these videos, you're probably pretty bright. And so know that exists. The other thing is that the reality of the world is that it does want you to succeed. It just does. Like the creation of the world, whether you're a Big Bang theorist or you believe that there's a higher being, is that it was created and you're at the top of that evolution. Okay? So however you were born, right? You could have been a stick, a plant, an animal. Guess what? You are right now at the top of the pyramid. You are human. And so you can crush it. You crush all other living things below you, everything. Now, of course, if you're hand-to-hand combat between you and a brown bear, you'll probably get slaughtered. But again, if you brought a gun, boom, winner, right? Again, know yourself. So that's the interesting thing about it, that you're born as a human. And again, if you live in America, you have totally done it. I think Gary Vee talks about you've hit the lottery, and that's totally what it is. Now people will look at this and they'll be like, okay, Asian American, speaks really good English. Yeah, dude, I totally hit the lottery versus my counterparts that are in North Korea or China. Now, of course, I was born here. My parents were born here. My grandparents were born here as in the United States. So we've been here a long time. Okay, we are basically American. And so as you wrap your mind around those two things, number one, that there will be opposition. There's opposites in everything. And then number two, understand that ultimately this world wants to have you to achieve those good things because you are a human. And again, so as you go after things, success really is the only option. Like that's what life wants for you. Life wants you to succeed. Life wants you to grab everything. And the beauty of it is that if everyone even had that belief, it's still obtainable. The rising tide raises all boats. And just because someone's successful doesn't take away from your success. So as you need to feed this inner voice of success and dumb down the one that says you can't accomplish it. And as you focus more on the accomplishment and you focus more on the achievement of success, you're gonna start getting it. You're gonna start getting those small wins, and they're gonna turn into bigger wins to the point that this voice becomes so large. What you got to tell it is to be quiet and not be such an ego man. The egomaniac is what this one wants to become. So that's why it's good to have this opposition that says, hey, dumb it down, tells that one to shut it up. And so you need that balance in your mind. So the question that I have for you is, how do you feed that positive driver in your life, that voice to succeed? How do you feed it? Have a great day, everybody.